Welcome to the 2022 Houston Underwater Film Festival, supported and sponsored by the Houston Underwater Photographic Society. And a special welcome to our on-demand viewers. My name is Craig Beasley. Along with my lovely spouse Betsy, I'm co-chair of the festival, and I'll be your MC today. Please take a moment to silence your phone and then settle in to enjoy a taste of what is to come. Our show will begin in a few moments. And now, on with the show.
As the sun rises higher on the horizon, the lake slowly uncovers its ice armor. Love-struck toads gather in the quickly warming shallow waters. Hormone-overloaded males will jump at anything that resembles a female. Successful males will pass on their genes to the next generation. Large schools of fish are gathered in the channel leading to the lake. These are common roach. Spawning rash-decorated males fight for the best spots. Mating begins with the arrival of the females. As summer arrives, the lake bursts into life. Shoals of fish swim beneath the surface in search of food. At this time of the year, even the larger carps form groups. Sturgeon. Unfortunately, they are very rare in our natural waters. Predators often follow schooling fish. Pikes lurk for their victims. Small, medium, and gigantic ones. And the hunt begins. The biggest predator of our lakes is a mystical creature. The lucky divers can meet the titan of our waters, the majestic Wells catfish. The surface of the lake is decorated more and more with colorful leaves. In autumn, fish retreat to deeper sections of the water, and the cycle begins again.
An early morning dive at Nelson Bay found the Terrigal underwater group in search of sea hares, and it wasn't long before diver Gordon located a large specimen on the move. Growing to 60 centimetres, this species is the largest of its type in Australia and possibly the world. Known since Roman times, its common name derives from the rhinophores, which stick up from the head, resembling a hare's ears. It is these appendages which give the animal its keen sense of smell, as they are extremely sensitive chemical receptors. When disturbed, a sea hare can release a cloud of ink like an octopus, providing a toxic smokescreen to confuse its enemies. An editor at National Geographic magazine once described these creatures as the 70s swingers of the sea slug world. You see, sea hares are hermaphrodites with both male and female reproductive organs. When the time comes to mate, they chemically attract all around them to join in. The first animal acts as a female and is mounted by a second, acting as a male which is then mounted by another, and so on, sometimes forming a chain of 10 to 20 animals, until the last in line only carries out its male duties. Subsequently, each lays thousands of eggs, securing them to the surrounding kelp. I guess it has to be said, Terrigal divers are not the only ones having fun in Nelson Bay.
Hello friends, this is my village. It's called Ahmed, north of Bali. But me, I live underwater. You can find me on a black sand slope. I hear it looks like the moon. Can you see me? I'm on this hydrate. Okay, that's me, Skelly, the skeleton shrimp. I'm actually not a shrimp, but an amphipod. We like to get on each other's back, but just for fun. I'm omnivorous and feed on everything that passes by. I'm about 1 centimeter tall and I have 2 big claws. I can be transparent, orange, yellow and even pink. To mate, I need to be very flexible, and I can only do it when my female just lost her exoskeleton. That's me doing it. When it's done, I'd rather go away quickly because she may kill me. After mating, My female will brood the eggs in her brood pouch. You can see here all the eggs in her belly. Oh, she's getting contractions. It's about to happen. The babies will hatch and emerge as juvenile adults. And they will stay on their mom for a while. They will be everywhere, on her body, arms, antennas. That's a close family. Then, they will spread all over, fighting and eating on their own. But mom will never be too far. That's my story. I hope you liked it.
They say I'm a wanted man. Hold the line and break the fire. I'm setting all the captives free, but I'm hanging by a wire. All those suckers know my name, but I just gotta fight the fight. They love to play those dirty games. From the dark will come a light. Look out, I'm coming. Look out, I'm a dangerous man. Cause I'm a dangerous man, shaking like the Holy Ghost. Better run and be afraid. They tremble when they hear my voice. I knew there would come a day. They say that I'm a wanted man. They got a bounty on my head. They're drawing lines up in the sand, but I'll rise up from the dead. Look out, I'm a trouble man. Look out, I'm a dangerous man. Yeah. Oh, I'm a dangerous man. Yeah. Oh, I will survive. I'll stand and fight. Better run and hide. 'Cause I'm a dangerous man.
We all wonder what's out there, in those distant worlds among the stars. Primitive life on Earth grew in the ocean. It has since evolved into millions of species, many of them still being discovered. The universe is full of mysteries, equally fascinating and scary. But there have always been pathfinders to push the boundaries of the unknown. Today, although we sometimes call space the final frontier, the depths of the oceans remain vastly unexplored. Exploration is part of our passion. We love to venture into deep and dark places, to seek out living treasures. The underwater world is full of colourful rewards of unusual shapes for those who know how to find them. First contacts have always been a bit weird, but after all, we are also alien life forms to the creatures we encounter. They grow in a fluidic universe where gravity and Archimedes' principle allow them to swim or drift above the seabed. The ocean is a place of wonders and opportunities. Mankind has long believed the seas had infinite resources. Pollution and overfishing almost brought the ocean to a global collapse. Restoring marine biodiversity is now one of humanity's missions to ensure the survival of life on Earth. Man-made structures are now voluntarily sunken to provide the foundations of new, lush ecosystems where vibrant marine life will shelter, hunt, love and grow. In the future, our past mistakes and efforts to repair them might inspire us to make habitable barren distant worlds. But before beaming down to other planets, there is still a world full of mysteries, a world to explore, to understand, and to protect just below the surface of our blue planet.
Hola, me llamo Ramón. Soy un lobito marino. ¿Te cuento un secreto? Las personas se enamoran de mí. Vivo en Uruguay con mi papá, que se llama Richard. Cuando era un bebé, un derrame de petróleo me separó de mi mamá. Richard me rescató y me adoptó. Él tiene un centro de rescate de animales marinos y voy a vivir acá hasta que sea grande y fuerte y pueda volver a mi casa. Ya crecí un poco y ya no tomo más mamadera. Bueno, casi. Dicen que estoy cada vez más lindo. Papá dice que soy travieso, pero no lo escuchen. Soy un angelito. No debería subirme a las mesas. Ahora tengo una familia otra vez. Sonio es mi hermano menor, pero es gigante porque es un elefante marino. Está Pedro, que es un león marino. Y hay más lobitos chiquititos como yo, pero son un poco aburridos para mí. Por eso, cuando nadie me mira, me meto a jugar con los pingüinos. Piggy es mi favorito. Siempre persigue al gato y le muerde la cola. Y también tengo 2 hermanitas bebés, Isa y Panchi. Todos llegamos acá enfermos o lastimados. Y cuando alguno se cura, festejamos todos juntos su vuelta a casa. Mi papá me contó que ustedes también volvieron a sus casas, porque hay un virus que los está lastimando o algo así. A nosotros también nos lastima un virus, pero quedarnos en casa no nos protege, porque nuestro virus está en todos lados. No queremos sufrir más. Sé que ustedes están ayudando como una gran familia. Y yo tengo una idea. ¿Les gustaría ser mi familia? Así nos ayudan con nuestro virus. Lo único que tienen que hacer es tratar al mar como a un hogar y no como un basurero. Como dicen ustedes, a las amenazas les ganamos entre todos. Cuidemos a nuestras familias, a nuestros hogares, a nuestros océanos, a nuestro planeta. Sanemos juntos. Papi, cuando todo esto termine, ¿las cosas van a volver a ser como antes? Yo no quiero. Ojalá que cuando vuelvan a salir, nos quieran y nos cuiden, más que antes.
A friend asked me recently, why do you film when you're diving? What are you going to do with that footage? What's the purpose? And I answered with, I don't know. I just always film when I'm diving. I always take my camera. But then it clicked. I know why I film. I want to share my love and passion for the ocean. I want people to fall in love with it. I want people to care about the ocean, the animals, and the ecosystems within it. Because if they love it as much as I do, they'll protect it. They'll take care of it. They'll conserve it. But if people won't do it for the love of the ocean, animals, or ecosystems, then I hope they'll do it for the love they have for themselves and their future on this planet. It's no secret that the ocean and the life within it is in danger because of human activity. We've polluted it and stripped it of its resources and life, but the ocean is a magnificent place and important to everyone's life. Fish is the main source of protein for 4 out of 10 people, so we need healthy oceans and fisheries. We need people making responsible seafood choices and eating managed species. Climate change, humanity's biggest threat. The ocean is our buffer, able to absorb and store much of the sun's heat. And the ocean is our biggest carbon sink, absorbing half of the world's CO2 emissions. The ocean is also vastly important to the global economy. $3 trillion of the global economy is linked to the ocean. It provides an income for every 10th person in the world. So support sustainable businesses, ecotourism, and innovation to make sure that we can continue to rely on the ocean to generate wealth but stop destructive practices to our ocean. You'd think rainforests are our main source of oxygen. However, the ocean generates 50% of the oxygen we breathe. The ocean is also home to more than 200,000 distinct and magnificent species, and we're not even close to being done with exploring. Unfortunately, less than 8% of the ocean is protected, and less than 3% is fully protected in a non-take marine reserve. We need to raise those percentages drastically to protect the animals in our oceans, support marine protected areas, and the creation of more marine protected areas. Through the evaporation cycle, the ocean also regulates our fresh water supply. Water that evaporates from the ocean's surface rains down on the land, giving us irrigation and drinking water. The ocean has also shaped human cultures and traditions. 40% of the world's populations live close to the ocean. Growing up by the ocean affects what you eat, what kind of job you do, and what you do in your free time. The ocean is an amazing place and vastly important to us. It is the most valuable thing we have, and the reality is, if the ocean dies, we die. So love the ocean, protect it, and conserve it.
In my lifetime as an underwater filmmaker, I have spent years in multiple locations around the world. I have witnessed with an increasing sadness a decline in fish population and also in the health of the coral reefs all around the world. I have lived in Cozumel for the last 7 years, and the story was the same here, until COVID hit the world. Since then, the coral reefs of Cozumel have somehow prospered. Gone are coral white and black band diseases. Gone is a coral and sponge systematic overgrowth of green and red algae. So what is the main difference in the last 15 months? No cruise ship. But here we are, the cruise ship are preparing to come back and want to extend docking facilities too. So, did we learn anything? Yes, greed and short-term vision are trumping common sense.
Our oceans are the lifeline for humanity, providing us with 50 to 80% of all the oxygen we breathe, covering 71% of the Earth's surface, with 80% having been unmapped and unexplored. We have sent 12 people to the surface of the moon, yet only 3 people have ever descended to the deepest part of the ocean in the Marianas Trench. And each year we discover on average 2,000 new animal species in the ocean. On this same planet, we produce 78 million tons of plastic a year, with the world's total plastic production at an estimated 7.8 billion tons. Of this, approximately 64 million tons will end up in our oceans each year. This area beneath a small craft harbour gives us a sobering reminder that it is estimated by the year 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. As we descend to the depth of 19 meters, something stands out from the rubbish-burdened sea floor. Defiantly against the odds, green, lonely in the silty depths, a plant. On it, life. Getting in closer, we see a world of color fighting to keep going in the sea of chaos. Nudibranchs, a member of the sea slug family, some only a few millimeters in size and barely visible to the naked eye, and others as big as your hand. Large concrete blocks lining the sea floor to provide mooring points for boats are now home to the exposed bronchi and magnificent rhinophore of this nudibranch. A decomposing rice sack provides a sheltered hideout for this ornate ghost pipefish and its shrimp friends. Keeping a close eye on the fine silty bottom, we see the squat shrimp hard at work cleaning an anemone to keep the delicate balance in check. A tiny juvenile moray eel catching a snack, and this blenny defending its light bulb which it now calls home. While this carelessly discarded can is now the new hunting ground for this anemone. As the oceans fill with plastic, this hermit crab and its symbiotic friends will patiently wait for us to reduce the impact of our lives on theirs, in hope that the ocean will continue to be a home for sea life and not the remains of our life.
All right, name, title?
Deborah Cannibal, owner-operator of Epic Diving.
Vincent Cannibal, Deborah's husband, and also from Epic Diving.
I want to talk about a happy story that just happened with you guys last week, that you both teamed up to rescue a dusky shark. Well, first, let's help people understand, what is a dusky shark? What's its characteristics?
A dusky is another pelagic shark that really roams through the open oceans in search of its next meal. They look pretty similar to a reef shark. Their head structure is a bit different. They're very slender, but constantly moving and cruising around, scouring the open oceans.
And Debbie, tell me about this particular shark.
Well, he came in on our first dive, and he had a rope. We can show you the rope. We saved the rope, actually, and it was in deeply embedded in his skin. You could actually see like the white flesh wound and everything, and it was holding down his pectoral fin. And he was also very skinny and looked like he hadn't had a meal in quite some time.
As soon as he passed by, I got my hand on the rope, and it took a little effort because it was really stuck in there. Fortunately, there was a small bit of slack, and my fear was that, once I grabbed onto it, he was going to freak out and I wouldn't really have a good chance. But as soon as I got my hand around it, he did seem to come to a stop and just let me work on it. And I had a pair of trauma shears, from my other job.
Wait, I'm going to pause you because, what you just said is pretty fantastic and probably hard for most people to picture. A shark came to a pause and basically cooperated with you.
I think the animal, was obviously very bothered by it. I think it had really affected the animal. It had obviously been on there a long time to have caused the wound that it did. It seemed that the shark was growing as that was around him, and it was just causing it to get tighter and tighter. And I don't know if, he thought there was that we were going to try to remove it, or maybe the fact that I got it lifted out of his skin a little bit, he felt a bit of relief and then just let us finish the job.
Tell me about the actual removal process.
It just shockingly wasn't that difficult. Those trauma shears went through that rope in one swipe. And it was a good, safe way to do it. I didn't have to cut or saw. I got the scissors underneath it, so the animal felt nothing at all. Lifted the rope away, one cut, and it came free. And as I did that, as I cut it, the shark actually did a roll and basically unwrapped himself from the rope. And after that, we had a few more hours with the shark. He was a different shark. He came a lot closer. He was interactive with all the divers that were in the water. It was a pretty remarkable experience.
So I know it's completely different, but it makes me think of the whale rescue stories. Yeah. Is it ridiculous for me to want to give a shark that much credit to where it understands it's being helped, or would even show appreciation like they say whales do afterwards?
I don't think so.
It's not ridiculous.
It's hard to say because maybe a scientist or someone looking on the outside would think we're crazy, but being in the water with the animal, and you can even ask Amanda about it, being in the water with the animal, that animal just, it did really just...
It was a feeling.
It was a feeling, and it was just, really did kind of stop, and it was just, it was right in Amanda's face. He was right on the side of it, and then it just stayed still, and then it just did like a perfect roll out, and then right after the roll, it just came, and it hung by Vinny a little bit more than anyone else, which I thought that was interesting. Again, it's not like a scientific proof of having, it's just...
Sure.
Without trying to give it, human emotion, I think at even a more simplistic level, we know they visit cleaning stations. We know that they hover around and let other animals help clean parasites and things off of it. I think the shark recognized that it was, something was being removed that was bothering it.
Epic diving, saving sharks through ecotourism, and hands-on rescues. Thanks, guys.
I am who I am. I come and go in rhythm with the moon. I am the origin of all. I give birth to life. To color, shape, and form. My plants produce half of the oxygen you inhale. I give life, and I take it. Life floats through my womb. It moves in the rhythm of night and day. Your fate is connected to mine. Your soul is interwoven with mine. I contain the largest habitat on Earth, yet you know so little about me. You empty my contents, capturing everything that moves and swims, faster than I can bear. You abuse me for everything which has become useless to you. What future do we have if you neglect my destiny? Will you become my salvation? Or will you watch my demise? The choice is yours. Who I am? I am the sea.
A me non importa che mi chiamino Dio, né che il cielo rifletta su di me il suo blu o il grigio. Non mi importa che mi si cantino poesie o che mi si associ alla vita o alla morte. E che chi sopra di me naviga si senta cullato o intimorito, a me non importa. Neanche di chi si inabissa dentro di me. Non mi importa di chi sprofonda o galleggia. Di chi aspetta che il vento porti le mie onde. Dei gabbiani che nei miei spazi cercano l'ultima ora. Di quanto sale spenda per la terra. A me non importa. E non importa della gratitudine dei pescatori, o di chi si specchia sulle acque delle mie rive, né dei santi patroni che ardono sulle barche per rendermi omaggio. Non mi importa dei vostri traffici sulla mia cresta, e neanche dei relitti che nel tempo vi conservo. Non mi commuovono e non mi importano le vostre sviolinate sulle rive delle riserve, se poi nelle spiagge affollate svuotate le vostre sacche. A me non importa farvi piacere col suono dei miei sbuffi. E non mi importa degli spettacoli che i miei orizzonti offrono al calar del sole. No, non mi importa più nulla. Voglio solo che mi lasciate libero.
In a quiet corner of British Columbia, the western toad tadpoles embark on their incredible daily migration. A fearless and epic journey as these little animals navigate the perils of the aquatic environment and metamorphosis. For the past 4 years, I've been coming to a remote lake on Vancouver Island where each springtime the western toads lay their eggs. In just a matter of days, these eggs will hatch into tadpoles. Then, an amazing unseen journey begins. Each morning, the tadpoles come together to form a cloud, a meandering congregation of hundreds of thousands of tadpoles, all with a singular focus. They rise from the deeper parts of the lake and travel towards a specific area of shallow water, swimming a daring gauntlet along the way. Weaving in and out of lily pads, it's one of the most incredible yet rarely seen migrations. It's also a very challenging environment to photograph. These little guys move surprisingly fast, and with constantly changing lighting conditions and visibility, it is one of the toughest natural events I've filmed. They're always on the move, so for me, the key is to spend as many hours in the water as possible, capturing footage so I can share this story. In an effort to reduce the impact of my presence here, I choose to snorkel, as it's the least invasive method for me to capture my images. A simple wetsuit, mask, snorkel, and fins make it easier for me to get close to these fearless little creatures. It's a fragile environment, and as with most lakes, the bottom substrate is very fine and loose, so I have to be especially careful with my movements or I'll lose visibility. Even the tadpoles can stir up the silt. I also take advantage of the natural trails made from beavers that live here. They like to eat the lily pad roots, leaving behind a series of natural trails that I make use of where possible. People don't think of tadpoles as being photogenic, but when you take the time to look at their features, they're actually very cute. They have a permanent smile on their face that you form an instant connection with. Witnessing their journey each day, there's a strong emotional bond I can't help but feel. Being born in British Columbia, I remember often seeing tadpoles as a young boy, so to be in the water as a photographer, capturing their journey now, it has been a lifetime in the making. Seeing the thick black mass of tadpoles moving like a winding river was just mind-blowing. An estimated 3 million tadpoles live in this one location. One of my friends compared it to the migration of wildebeest moving across the Serengeti, but on a tiny scale. The tadpoles feed on algae found on lily pads, grass, fallen logs, and even the occasional hand. When they're not swimming, you can bet these little ones are feeding. Their metamorphosis requires a lot of food, and the lake has an abundance of nutrients ready to fuel their journey. But their journey is not without danger, as the tadpoles aren't the only animals living in this lake looking for food. Water bugs will strike on an unsuspecting lone tadpole, feeding on its eyeballs, a creepy, heartbreaking display of predatory skill, but one necessary for its own survival. And whilst loons and trout will also impose their predatory expertise onto the tadpoles, the most striking of predators is the leech. Detecting their prey with a range of different sophisticated sensors, these leeches move quickly before striking and swallowing their prey. It's an impressive but sad sight when the tadpoles meet such a grisly end. However, it's all an important part of the lake's fragile ecosystem. Those that survive the long swim seek refuge in the shallow area of the lake, basking in the warmer, oxygen-rich waters and feeding on the abundance of microplants and algae. In a few hours, they'll turn around and run the gauntlet once more, this time back towards the deeper parts of the lake, where they'll rest for the night before repeating the entire migration the next day and the next. During the 6 to 8 weeks of their metamorphosis, the tadpoles will evolve dramatically. First, their back legs will begin to appear, which they'll start using while swimming. They develop patterns and colors, and their front legs will grow internally before breaking out of their thin skin. The tadpoles slowly start to use their new legs, learning how to walk and hop underwater. As other respiratory systems begin to develop, they will gradually stop extracting oxygen from the water using their gills. Finally, their tails will become redundant, and the tadpoles will take their first clumsy steps on land, becoming toadlets. After 4 seasons of filming here, I finally got to see a western toad take its very first bites, eating tiny bugs under the canopy of the forest. They now begin a new journey on land, before eventually heading back to their aquatic birthplace to find a mate and start the cycle once more, introducing a new generation of tadpoles to a fragile environment that faces constant threat from urban development. This year I asked conservationists Christina Mittelmeier and Paul Nicklin to join me while filming the migration.
What I really loved about this event, it's just the fascination I have with an animal that you never get to see underwater. We get to imagine the little tadpoles, but following in their migration, being part of their group as they move through the lake, for me it was just mesmerizing. I felt like a tadpole.
At first you jump in the water here and you start to see the swarms. You see millions of these tadpoles and you're disconnected from them. But then you start to spend hours every day with them and you start to get very intimate and close with them, looking at their individual eyes, their individual characters, and you get to sort of almost see into the soul of a single tadpole. You have this sort of emotional connection to this animal and you realize they are an indicator species to a fragile and in many ways a changing and vulnerable ecosystem.
Like Paul and Christina, I also love the challenge of capturing these incredible wildlife moments. Bringing these unseen underwater marvels into people's lives is highly important. Through better communication comes understanding, and through better understanding, together we will learn to respect and preserve these fragile and threatened ecosystems. At some point, we must learn to put these little guys first. As a photographer, it was incredibly rewarding to see my experiences published for others to discover. Watching the tadpole story jump to life in the pages of a magazine is an interesting continuation to their journey. By sharing their story in ways that will enter homes around the world, it will help people connect with a species that is rarely seen or understood. To see these aquatic tadpoles evolve into terrestrial animals before my own eyes was humbling and heartwarming. It left me feeling like a proud parent, and it's proof that the smallest of animals can have the biggest of impacts.
Si tout m'était permis, je prendrais la tangente aux îles Salomon, un avion pour Bali, j'ouvrirais une auberge au bord d'un lagon. Fini les baleines qui plient des parapluies. Fini les luisantes berlines qui s'agglutinent, les hurlantes sirènes et les angines. On voguerait d'île en île en voilier, un peu de lecture entre deux plongeons, sous les fleurs bleues tranquilles, on danserait, on apprendrait les noms des poissons, les soucis, les cordes qui s'usent de mon hamac, les ennuis, la fuite qui accuse quelques kayaks, les deux trois moustiques qui les soirs attaquent. N'est-ce sans doute qu'un rêve qui ne serait pas si doux s'il se réalisait? Les plus durs étaient sans réveiller, mais je ne peux, je veux y replonger. On ferait le pari de parler les dialectes de la région, rejoindre les amis, la famille, bientôt resterait pour de bon. Youpi, les bouts des doigts qui courent dans les flots. Oh oui, les rhums arrangés à l'apéro, l'orange qui plonge dans l'indigo. Wow. Il y aurait des tornades pour se serrer plus fort, des lacs et des cascades, ou faire l'amour encore, des perroquets, des ponts qui garderaient les enfants, une carte au trésor où l'on cacherait tout l'or de nos mots, nos partitions. Oh, 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 une vieille guitare et nos chansons. Il y aura des tornades, des lacs et des cascades, des perroquets, des ponts, une carte au trésor où l'on cacherait tout l'or. Il y aura des tornades pour cesser le mots, des lacs et des cascades, où faire l'amour. Oh, des perroquets, des ponts qui garderaient les enfants, une carte au trésor où l'on cacherait tout l'or de nos mots, nos partitions. Oh, 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 une vieille guitare et nos chansons.
Merci, au revoir.
I see you painting, chewing on toast, joy emanating from your soul, and think, what if you had never existed? What emptiness there would be. And I look into my womb and wonder what could have been. In my dreams, there is fullness. In my belly, in my breasts, life ready to burst. I know you're there, somewhere. Together, we destined for each other. Angels, guide me to where you are. They say the darkest moments come just before the light. And then at some point, you, my dream, become my reality.
Sand. It's not colorful or very exciting, but many organisms call it home. White sand, like we see here, is mostly eroded coral. Black sand, sometimes called muck, can be a combination of ash, lava, and other decomposed landforms. This hermit crab filters sand endlessly for nutrients. A tube anemone that has managed to find an anchor point in the sand becomes a hotel for crustacea and fish. A sleepy puffer settles down for the night. Cardinal fish hang in the current. And shrimp, crabs, and squat lobsters prepare for the evening. A piece of soft coral becomes a perch for this seahorse. Hydroids are food for this nudibranch, who stores the toxins for protection. Holes in the sand beneath rocks and coral make good homes for morays, mantis shrimp, and many other species. Bits of bamboo, sticks, or even trash will be used for places to lay eggs or hide from predators. Yes, that hurt. A fire urchin taught me a painful lesson to watch where I put my hands. They're beautiful, but they're covered in hypodermic syringes. A tiny blue ring octopus somehow squeezes into a toothpaste tube. A flamboyant cuttlefish is off and running. And a colorful nudibranch takes a stroll across the sand. Nighttime is when snails are out hunting with their deadly harpoons poised for the kill. The potent poison of cone shell snails has been known to kill people. The little guys also have places to go. A baby scorpionfish takes full advantage of the worms attracted by the video light. Many creatures, like this mimic octopus, burrow into the sand for protection. Bobtail squid dives for cover. All gone. House cleaning is a constant need in shifting sands. Now you see me? Now you don't. A coconut octopus just wants to stay at home.
Does it seem that under the sea things can get pretty strange? In our weird, wild, and wonderful undersea world, things do get pretty strange. Did you know that seahorses are the only animal where the male gives birth and cares for the young? Seahorses are monogamous and mate for life. Every morning they come together with their partner, dance, change their color, twirl around with linked tails, and then separate for the rest of the day. Pygmy seahorses stay on the same sea fan their whole life and might only move a few inches. While clownfish do mate for life, it's a bit complicated. Clownfish are sequential hermaphrodites, which are born as females, then become males, except for one, the largest male, who stays the only female. Peterson's shrimp and clownfish live in association within the stinging tentacles of a sea anemone. Before they can do this, they need to acclimatize themselves to the anemone by progressively pressing their bodies against the tentacles for increasing periods of time. After this, they're able to move between the tentacles without getting stung. But if they're separated from their host for a few days, they'll need to repeat the immunizing procedure. Moray eels are not aggressive when they open and close their mouths. They're actually just breathing. They have an inner and outer jaw. Parrotfish produce 85% of all sand. They munch on the coral reef, and out it comes the other end, all day long. Octopus have 3 hearts and their blood is blue. An adult octopus can squeeze through a hole the size of a dime. They are completely deaf. The male octopus has a sex arm, which he inserts into the female's mantle cavity. The male dies shortly after mating. The female dies after her eggs hatch. We'll let these two have some privacy. Nudibranchs absorb stinging cells from the prey they eat and later use them as part of their defensive system. Their bright color is a warning that they are poisonous. Their eggs are quite beautiful. Some types of nudibranch are solar-powered and use sunlight to produce energy. Here's what mating nudibranchs look like. Cowfish are made out of a bone box with holes only for eyes, mouth, and fins. If their horns break off, they grow back. They are extremely poisonous. Sharks are covered with tiny little teeth called dermal denticles. That's why their skin feels like sandpaper. Pufferfish have an eye that looks like a galaxy, and they contain enough toxin to kill 30 adult men. Bobbit worms bury themselves in the sand and can grow up to 9 feet long. They are blind and have no brain, yet they sense movement and strike with their jaws to snatch prey that swim over them, pulling them back down under the sand. Only half of a dolphin's brain sleeps at a time. While one half of the brain is asleep, the other half reminds the dolphin to surface for air. One eye always stays open as well, and the alert half of the brain watches for danger. The peacock mantis shrimp can see 5,400 colors and can vaporize water. They have the strongest punch in the world, equal to a shot from a .22 caliber bullet. You shouldn't put one of these guys in an aquarium. There's no electricity involved in this electric clam's display. It creates the flash by rapidly rolling its lips, which are dark on one side and reflective on the other. Manta rays have the largest brains of all fish. The spot patterns on their bellies can be used to distinguish individuals, like a fingerprint. And back to our beginning shot. Near islands formed by volcanoes, bubbles are produced by the underground geothermal activity and continuously stream from the sand. I hope you've enjoyed Weird But True. See you next time.
We flew from Houston to Cabo and took a bus ride to La Paz to join the Nautilus Explorer. Las Animas was the site, and the arid island was home to frolicking sea lions. A roll off the Zodiac, and the adventure began. It was not long before we caught the attention of a young sea lion. She came up and grabbed the handle of my tray, and I started laughing. I told her she could not take it, and then she left to try another diver's light. Not discouraged, she came back to see if my head was a better plaything. I guess not, and happily she went off to find more friends.
Swimming along, minding my own business, doing what I do, not bothering anybody, when I see this little bit of delicious kelp floating near the surface. So I start to swim up to it. I'm hungry as fuck. I grabbed a piece of kelp, and all of a sudden, something grabs me. Next thing you know, I'm out of the water, this fucking seagull is trying to eat me.
What? That must have been terrifying.
Shit, yeah, it was scary. I fucking pissed myself. I got it in its mouth. It was a nightmare.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, Red.
A fucking seagull tried to eat me.
Oh no, are you okay?
I'm a little freaked out.
He's alright.
So there I was, swimming along, minding my own business.
Oh,
I
this
see
story
this delicious piece of kelp
again?
near the surface.
It must have been a harrowing experience. Those seals are frightening.
They're trash compactors with wings.
That's kind of harsh.
And they carry disease.
And they're fucking tenacious. I bet he's still up there thinking about it. The big one that got away. Jelly, go see if he's up there.
What the?
Come on, Jelly. He wants to see you,
man.
You're super stealthy and shit.
I'm not going.
You can do this.
Fuck no, man. This is a bad idea, man.
You got this. You're the Jelly.
I can't emphasize how bad of an idea this is. I don't know how I get myself talked into.
Oh shit!
Is he up there?
Is he up there?
Yeah, he's still up there.
I knew it.
And thanks for asking about me, man. That shit was terrifying.
Now you're fine. That bird makes me so angry.
Anybody hungry? Let's go eat some kelp, y'all. I'm starving.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, let's get out of here before one of us gets eaten.
Fucking seagull. I hope he chokes on a French fry.
Aw, that's cold.
Dude, I'm stuffed.
Yeah, me too.
That was some good kelp. What's up, buddy? Still thinking about that seagull?
Think about how I'd like to kick his ass.
What? Calm down, dude.
Who the fuck does he think he is? He messed with the wrong fish.
Well, that's what seagulls do, man. Can't change that. Gotta be smart. Not get eaten.
Well, excuse me for not wanting to be a swimming snack for some asshole.
Oh, but watch out
who's
for
too
that.
stupid to... What the fuck?
Wow, dude. Are you alright? Oh, that looked like it hurt.
What the fuck is this thing?
I don't know.
I bet it's from the humans.
Maybe. It's weird like that.
Fucking humans. Leaving their shit everywhere. Hey guys. What's good? Yeah, what's up? What are you fine gentle fish up to today?
Not much. We're just...
Hey, that's quite a nice sea mine you got there.
No, it's not ours. We're
Wait,
just...
you know what it is? It's a sea mine, and I'll one by the looks of it. Careful, it probably won't take much to set it off. Set it off?
What do you mean, set it off?
Oh yeah, that thing can sink a ship. Jelly, help me move this thing. Come on. Fucking thing is too heavy.
It looks
it looks heavy. How are we gonna move this thing?
You need a whale shark to move that thing.
A whale shark, you say?
You want me to do what now?
We just need you to break that sea mine loose so we can teach that seagull a lesson.
Okay. Come on, whale. You can do it.
Yes! Yes!
All right.
Yes!
Nice one, whale shark. There you go.
Thanks, whale. There's no way we could have moved that thing. Now we can extract sweet revenge on that fucking seagull.
No problem. But whatever you're gonna do, you better do it before that sea mine hits that ship.
What ship? Well, this is a fine mess you've gotten us into, Jelly.
What?
Which is it? Magic grass or magic in the grass?
Okay, that's a misleading title. Sorry for that, but it's for a good cause. It's not about weed. That was just to get your attention. It's about seagrass, which gets no respect.
That's true. Seagrass doesn't look like much from the top side.
This all started because we were always in a big hurry to get out there and get in the water.
The grass looks like a flyover zone, so we rush over it to the edge of the reef. That's what we came for, right?
Right. Sheer walls, beautiful fish, macro, and weird creatures.
Yeah, that's what we thought. But after a few days, we noticed there was a lot going on in the grass.
Lots of eggs and swarms of juveniles.
The transition zone between the grass and the reef is really busy. Lots of baby anemone fish and more on the way.
It looks very peaceful and tranquil, but it's the opposite. It's a killing field.
Schools of feeding fish are everywhere.
Can you imagine the horror of this massacre by the catfish?
Predators are lurking.
With all this violence, you need a survival strategy.
Many familiar species have adapted to the seagrass. They're green and hard to spot.
They're usually shy, but for some reason this guy was very curious.
Can you spot these? It might help to look in the center.
Some species are chameleons. This scorpion fish was nearly invisible after he went in the grass.
Seagrass is a main source of food for turtles, and they don't need to hide.
The transition zone between grass and coral is the most active, especially at night.
Our frogfish has moved from the grass down to the coral and lies in wait.
Creatures constantly move back and forth between the grass and the coral.
But seagrass is much more than entertainment for divers.
It's part of a complex ecosystem that stretches from the tropics to the Arctic in both fresh and salt water. It's part of some of the most beautiful underwater scenes you will find.
Seagrass is critical to the survival of life on Earth. It captures and stores vast amounts of carbon and produces oxygen.
Seagrass provides food and shelter for thousands of species.
It does so much more, but it's under threat and needs our protection. Our survival may depend on it.
So, next time you're tempted to rush by it, slow down and enjoy the grass.